Mm. Oh my God. Man, sometimes you're just, I don't know, it hits you and your body's like, you better give me water. And like, at that moment in time, you can't focus on anything else. Your brain's like, you're right. I'm so sorry.
And water is just like the best thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a weird sensation. It's a super weird sensation. You start drinking water and you're like, I've never loved anything like this before. Because like there's times you eat something chocolate and you're like, oh, chocolate. Or you eat like a French fry. There's little sensations that your brain craves. But the one that's most common, I mean, for me at least, is every once in a while it's like, you didn't drink enough today. Well, my brain doesn't think that. That's not necessarily, how it starts. It's just, you're thirsty. You're so thirsty. You've basically never drank water ever, and the feel of it in your mouth is going to be amazing. And my brain is right. Oh. And it's better when it's extra cold. Like super stupid cold.
Yeah.
Mal poured that for me just a little bit ago and had a bunch of ice in it. And since then, most of the ice is melted, so the water is super cold. Mm-hmm. And it's wonderful. Anyway, did I already say welcome to Tuesday? I don't know. I was so enamored by the water. I may not have said that. Or maybe I did. Welcome to Tuesday, regardless. It's been a good day. Did breakfast stream this morning. Got some work done a little bit in the afternoon. And then once 4 o'clock rolled around, I got to work on the first 20 stream. I was going to say 3 o'clock, but I tried. But there was some tech issues. I'll figure them out for next time. It's fine. Normally, I would call this like games I played in December, but I really didn't play that many games. I guess it's still technically true, but I only played 3.
Oh.
I only played 3 games. The one I played the most of was the first one, so I think I'm going to talk about that last, because I think it's probably the most interesting and the one I had the most time with. So instead, I'm going to start by talking about the second game I played, which was Little Misfortune. Now, Little Misfortune was voted on by the Twitch audience. We gave them 5 different games they could choose from. They chose Little Misfortune. Little Misfortune it's a trip. It delves in extremely strong adult themes. The game is rated M for a reason. And like it's like right out of the gate, it's discussing very serious topics. And it's a game that I would best describe as it's a dark comedy. It's a very, very dark comedy, and the humor style is certainly not going to be for everyone. But there's certainly humor in it, basically from the extreme contrast of the terrible things that are happening around and to this little girl, and the way that she handles everything and talks about it, because she stays exceedingly calm as like just the world basically burns down around her. But yeah, it's a game that's not for everyone, so it's really hard for me to just recommend it. You kind of need to see a little of it first before you decide to pick it up. But it's very highly rated, and for the audience that would find it humorous, they're probably going to really, really enjoy it. Yeah. The third game we played was Lightmatter. And Lightmatter that was also one that was voted on by the Twitch audience. The best way I could describe Lightmatter is if Portal was about light and shadow. And that's kind of selling the game short a little bit. You are basically trying to escape this facility where there has been some experimentation on this new energy source. And long story short, shadows will kill you. So there's these lights around, and you have to move the lights in such a way that you can progress so there's not shadows anywhere, because if you touch the shadows, you die. And the puzzle elements alone are good, and I was surprised at how difficult some of the early puzzles were. because there's like right at the beginning, and it was already like really making you think. But the thing that really pulls in the Portal vibes, aside from the sci-fi setting, is the fact that while you're going through this, you've got the person who's like in charge of all of this. They're trying to kind of like navigate you out of this and help you escape. And, they're like big brain, egotistic genius type. And it's very humorous. It's also dark comedy in a way. Certainly not the same level of dark that Little Misfortune is. But, there's an air of humor similar to how GLaDOS was in Portal. And it just seemed like a really interesting puzzle game. So that was the third game that we played. Now, the first game was Immortals Fenyx Rising, and this is a game that I had personally requested from Ubisoft. The other two games, Little Misfortune and Lightmatter, were both courtesy of Jam. But Immortals I had requested from Ubisoft, and I had been hoping that I would get that key before I did First 20 stream last month, and I didn't. The game just didn't. It just came out later than I thought it was. And I finally got a chance to play it tonight. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's good. From what I've played, and I can only tell you the experience of someone who's played about 80 minutes of the game, so still very much I'd say in like the intro part, the tutorial part, the game is good. It is unabashedly following the formula of Breath of the Wild. That being said, that's probably not such a bad thing, because if you played Breath of the Wild when it first came out, it's now been 3 years, so it's been a while. Breath of the Wild 2 isn't coming out until, presumably the end of 2021. So it's kind of a good, like, in-between thing. It is themed with mythology, and it's done really well. There's also a lot of character. Like, all of the characters are very humorous. They're very over the top. It might be... The comedy, just for some, it might be coming across as trying too hard, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. But a very similar open world layout to Breath of the Wild. Obviously, some tweaking is done there. It's not a one for one clone. There's some new abilities and stuff that I got to see in the first 80 minutes that aren't in Breath of the Wild, that made it feel pretty different. But, all in all, a very similar experience. But if you like mythology and you enjoyed Breath of the Wild, it might be worth looking into. Especially because, and I just found this out, the game came out 2 weeks ago, and like Best Buy already has it for $39.99. So like it's already fairly inexpensive. But it seems like it would probably be pretty fun. You can take my word for it and then find out what other people are saying. And I'm really curious what the length of that game is, too, because Breath of the Wild is long. And I have a feeling this game wouldn't be quite that long, but who knows. Anyway, that's the games. Those are the games. Just 3 games. Just 3. And as a reminder, those are available on... If you want to watch them now, they're available on Twitch now. We've saved those, so they're archived forever. But they'll be coming out on YouTube at some point in the future, with the exception of Little Misfortune, with how some of the stuff in that game was handled. I think it's I don't actually know that we could get away with monetizing that on YouTube, so that may stay a Twitch exclusive, but it will be on there. So if you want to see it, you can go watch it anytime. And with that, I already said it last time we did a First 20, but that takes us through the end of the year again. So now we have a little buffer into January, which is nice. I don't know what the next First 20 stream will be, but I still have a fair bit of games that I can just let folks vote on. And there's there's a pretty good selection in there. It's always interesting to see what those streams are going to be. And I for as much trouble as some of the tech side has been occasionally, and I think it's just from tearing down and reassembling the setup in different ways, it's fun to do them because it's so different to how I used to do it. Because most of the time I would just record a single First 20 for that week, a few days before, and getting a chance to do multiple games at once and see the variety in genre and tone is really exciting for me. I really enjoy that. So hopefully everyone else has been enjoying that too. That's something we've done all throughout 2020 now. And I think that that's a trend that'll continue into next year. Although I can say with certainty this was the last First 20 stream for this year. No more until January. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you've played any of these 3 games and you have opinions about them, you can feel free to talk about them in the comments of this video, just as spoiler-free as you possibly can. Particularly curious about your thoughts on Immortals Fenyx Rising, because again, from what I played, it actually seemed quite good. And there was a few elements that went a little deeper than Breath of the Wild in a way that I thought was nice, especially with some of the inventory stuff. I was just early getting into it, but it looked like there was some level of like customization and stuff for some of the weaponry. It just seemed like there were some nice changes. Oh, and infinite arrows. That was a little different from Breath of the Wild, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know specifically which system I prefer, because in the way that Immortals did it is that you could shoot up to 6 arrows, and like they kept recharging, but you never ran out. But I don't know if I prefer that to Breath of the Wild or not. I kind of like the idea of having to hold, like you have, so many arrows, and if you use them all, you're just kind of screwed. But then it is a little troublesome because you're always having to like think about that and buy them every time you see Beetle in a shop. Anyway, all right, I'll stop talking. Thanks for watching. Let's be back tomorrow, shall we? I'm going to continue enjoying this very cool, crisp water. I am still so thirsty.